Hello YouTubers, and today we're going to turn this into a custom G.I. Joe ZAP action figure. And for those of you that don't remember ZAP, he was from the 1982 lineup. Very basic action figure, but we're going to have a lot of fun with this, and I'm going to do a lot of painting on him, spray and hand, and put them together. I'll let you know where I got some of this stuff in the comments, and let's have some fun. Okay, so first I've stripped this body down from that to that. So there's nothing left on it. Everything's just the basic body. And we're gonna spray paint this just a green color, something that's gonna kind of match this helmet. And that's what we're gonna do first. We're actually, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and spray the boots because we're gonna paint those too. And then I'm gonna repaint his hands and his neck. And then we're gonna use this head right here from Etsy, and we're gonna do a paint on that as well. Basically the equipment that I bought from Etsy, this we're gonna paint. But this stuff looks pretty good. This bazooka and his pack that carries him and the helmet, they look awesome. So I don't know that I'm going to touch that, except for maybe I might hit this in here black, that way you can't see, and I might put some red in here for where he looks in, make it look like an infrared style thing. I might throw in a little bit more shade in there for, you know, where the rockets are, but that's about it. This guy did an awesome job on these, so you don't really even have to touch that stuff. So that's cool. I didn't even realize that when I bought that these were going to be painted, so that was a bonus. So, but we're going to kind of go between what he looked like in the comics, what he looked like in the cartoon, and we're just going to kind of go, you know, from there. I've got a comic book here. He's actually not in this comic book, but that's just kind of like more for reference. You kind of see what we're going for here. We're going for a very, very basic figure. Let's see if we can find something real quick here. Probably not, since I'm looking for it. Anyways, we're going to go with a very basic figure. Yeah, something like that. That's what we're going for. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and spray this body, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've sprayed this body and the helmet with Vallejo Model Air Gunship Green. And that's pretty close to one of the colors that these guys would have been back when. So right now I'm gonna take some of this intermediate green, and that is also Vallejo, and I'm gonna paint his pockets, because on the action figure the pockets were actually a lighter green. And that's the side pockets on his pants. And also the little pockets on his arm. Now this outfit, luckily, is very basic. And when I say basic, it's just like the old G.I. Joes. If you look at the old action figures, all those bodies were extremely basic. Like, it's pretty much the same body for the most part, just with a little bit added here and there. And that's the way these are, or this stalker body is, which makes it great for doing some old action figures like what I want to do for the 82 guys. And this is working out pretty well. And I know a lot of people usually aren't too interested in the old ones, but I figure we'll give this a shot because I kind of think they look cool. All right, so we got those pockets done. Now we got these little pockets up here to do too. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to worry about that or anything. I'm just going to leave that go, because looking at the action figures, they didn't really have that. What I mean is they didn't really have this piece right here painted. I'm going to get the collar, but it's not going to be this green. And I'm probably going to do the belt too. Oops. Don't touch where you paint. Let's hit that again. Okay. Probably going to hit that belt. They were brown. So we're going to hit the belt. I'm going to get some brown, probably the leather for his boots. And real quick, I'll just go through and show. I sprayed a tan on his head just for now, just for a base coat. These I'm actually going to color too with the intermediate green. Part of me is I kind of don't want to even put them on now, but I don't know, we'll see. Just something maybe a little bit extra. The original action figure didn't even have this stuff. All he came with was the bazooka and the pack and everything. Now I did paint inside there black, and I put that red. I'm gonna go over that with a Tamiya, the red paint that kind of makes it look like a light. And then I did paint the straps brown, and I'm gonna put some silver on some of those clips. So right now we use the intermediate green and the gunship green, and that was for the outfit. And I did spray this helmet too. I like the spray that he used on the helmet. It looked good, but I kind of wanted it to match the outfit, because a lot of times I mean, not all the time, but some of the time the helmets match the outfit, and that's kind of like what I was going for. So we got that, and while we're at it, we might as well go ahead and paint some of those boots. I think let's go with a earth tone for the boots instead of the leather brown. Start on the inside there. I could have probably sprayed these, but I don't know, sometimes I just like to paint. Painting is more fun. And yes, I did use an airbrush for painting the body. No, you do not want to see my airbrush station. It's not pretty. Maybe one of these days I'll make some sort of booth for that, and then you can watch me airbrush too. Okay. You have to be really careful that way you don't hit the pants. And there's one boot almost done. The other one I'll do off camera. Now I have 3 of these stalker bodies that I'm going to use for upcoming projects. And I'm also going to do a cobra eel. That is in the works. So you kind of see, there's our brown. That looks good. Probably going to do the same with the belt. Do a piece of the belt too while we're here. Gotta be very, very careful because I don't want to hit that green. So there's some of the belt. So that's what we're gonna go with there. And after I'm done with that, we'll be back and we'll try out something new. I'm gonna twist that up that way that doesn't hit that. All right. Okay, so I got the boots painted. As you can see, I got the belt painted. Now, I started painting the straps, and instead of going with silver, I decided to go with a bronze. So I'm gonna paint these 2 real quick, just to kind of show you. Let me see if I can get that. That looks pretty good. That way you can see. I have to have a steady hand. My hand's shaking just a little bit today. There we go. And then we'll hit the edge. And as you can see, bring those in. So we got those clips for the strap. This is the time I paint them silver, but for some reason, I seen the bronze sitting there and I thought, that'd be kind of neat. That'd be cool. A little something different. And besides the action figure, those straps were all brown. So now you're getting a little bit of detail, but it still has that brown look to it, that effect. And I used this small brush for my detail work, and then this thicker one for a lot of the bulkier work. Okay, so you know what we're gonna do real quick too? We got this belt buckle here. While we're at it, we're just gonna go ahead and stick a little bit of bronze on it too. Because from what I've seen with the original one, that one's going to be a 2-coater for some reason. That's not really doing too good of a job. But yeah, from what I've seen, basically everything was brown. But you can kind of see what I'm going for. I'm going to put another coat on that once that dries. Okay, so I got some brass painted on the boots. I painted the gloves black. I got the sleeves and the collar painted a brownish yellow. I actually mixed flat yellow and flat earth, more yellow than the earth, to get that tone, because it wasn't really yellow in the cartoon, but it was kind of like a yellow cast. So I'm trying to get something in between the cartoon, the comic book, and the action figure. So this is what we've got. I'm gonna spray this with a dull coat, and then I also painted the belt and the holster with that intermediate green. I'm gonna have to spray some dull coat on those. As you can see, I got those painted right there, and I also put some dark flesh on his face. Okay. So while we're waiting on, this is still a little bit wet here. While we're waiting on that to dry, I'll go ahead and spray the dull coat on that and all of this to prep it and get it ready. Sometimes I use the military shader on the outfits, and usually I go through this on my other videos too, whether I want to do it or not. Right now I kind of don't, but that might change. And if I do, I'm just going to hit the creases. I'm not going to spread it all over the place. I'm just going to hit creases if I do. Okay, so that's what we got so far. We're getting closer. Okay, everything's sprayed. And we're ready to go. We're going to do a flesh wash on this face. Let's do it like that. There we go. And I just lather that flesh wash up all over that face. And I will highlight everything later. If you haven't seen my other videos, you should check them out. I spend more time painting on those ones. This one, I've done a lot of painting off screen. Where those ones I pretty much paint the whole time, I think, on screen, at least the ripcord one anyways. So we've got our flesh wash on there, and we can let that dry, and then we'll start bringing out all the highlights. As you can see, that looks pretty good. And then leave that sit, and we'll go ahead and get his neck too. I'm gonna want to bring some of that up, but not too much. Uh-oh, that was a little bit too wet. That's not dry. We'll finish that off camera. I'll have to fix that. And it's okay. If you make a mistake, you can always fix it. It's not permanent. And that's okay. All right. Well, as you can see, we got our flesh tone on there, and then we'll highlight that after that dries. I think we'll start assembling this guy, putting on some of his stuff. That way he's ready to go for when we put the head on. I decided that I'm not going to go with these, the holster and the sheath for his knife, because let's face it, he's a G.I. Joe, he's a special operator. All he had was his bazooka, and honestly, after that, he runs out of ammo. He was probably doing hand-to-hand combat, and he had the rest of the Joe team to help him out. So we're just going to run with what we got right here. His bazooka, his pack. Here's his straps, his helmet, his head. This is what we're going to run with right there. Just like the action figure, just like in the comic books. And in the cartoon, I know he was using explosives, so you didn't really see him with a gun. So we're just going to go ahead and go with that. We're going to try to keep it as original as we can. Okay, so we'll let that dry, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, let's take a look here. All right, I did add some of the wash, the military shader, to this. I painted all the creases. I didn't go crazy. I didn't butter it up. Okay, So that, let me pull that in, you can kind of see the creases are the only thing shaded. Okay. And then I glued this pack onto these straps, because with the straps on, it won't go in the hole. But that's okay, because this guy's just gonna sit on my shelf anyways when he's all done. So that's what we have so far. I am gonna shoot it with another coat of Dahl before it's all over with. That way it dolls it up a little bit better. Now this, okay, see I painted that red, and I put some of this Tamiya X27, the clear red on there, to give it that glass look. So that makes it look like it's almost like a infrared type thing, or night vision or something of that nature. Okay, so next we're going to take a little bit of medium flesh. That's right there. And we got the head. Okay, so we're just going to kind of touch things up a little bit. We're going to bring out all his features, which he has a lot of features, which is going to be outstanding, as you can see. And if you haven't watched any of my other videos on my customs, be sure to check those out, because I spend a lot more time painting on those ones. I kind of narrowed it down on this one a little bit, where I did most of my painting off screen. But I think maybe the next one I do, besides the spring, I try to put that more on screen. We're just kind of trying to bring things out, and this is the medium tone. And you can always add water to this. Okay, you can kind of see that coming out now, and that's what we want. Okay. That looks pretty good. A little bit of paint on my hand, that's okay. But you can kind of see what we're doing here. We're just slowly bringing that out. I'm going to throw a little bit of Dahl coat on that, and then we'll get the last flesh tone in there, and that should bring it out even more. And I also have to paint the eyes, which I will most likely do off camera like I normally do, and the hair. And then after that, we should pretty much be done, because this is the last thing that we're really waiting on. I do have to do the neck too. Actually, we'll just go ahead and do that right now. I got the paint right here, so you might as well go ahead and hit that too. So this had the dark on it, and we're just gonna put the medium on it and lighten things up, bringing that out. I already had the military shader in there. And we'll do the back side too. And there we go. And some of the head's gonna cover that. Like up here, you don't have to worry about hitting that. The head's gonna cover that all up. So. And after all this gets hit with a Dahl coat again, I've got some parts that are kind of shining and other parts that aren't. It looks kind of uneven, but once it's all hit with the dull coat, it'll all stand out and it'll look like the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so that's been sprayed. I painted on the eyes. I got to make it looks like he's looking up. So now we're going to go ahead and hit that with the skin tone. That's your basic skin tone right there. We're going to go ahead and hit the rest of this and bring it out some more. And we're going to hit things very, very lightly on this. And this is all going to come out. It'll look softened as it dries. Right now it almost looks like you're putting on clown paint, but I promise you that once it's done, it'll look exactly the way it should. But this, it's like you got to hit it really, 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 really fine. And we're just bringing out all the highlighted areas is what we're doing. You can even put where he's got maybe some wrinkles in his head there. That's a good look. So you can kind of see what we're doing here. Just bringing everything we can out. Smoothing it up. There we go. But that is bringing everything out. So as you can see, we got our face, and that stuff's going to blend in as it dries, and I'll put some dull coat again on that. Might as well, while we're here, go ahead and hit the hair. I'm going to use a bigger brush. Get some, let's see, where is our black? We'll get our Vallejo black right there. And hit his hair. Let me move this back a little bit, kind of tilted on me. Got our bigger brush, and we're just gonna go ahead and hit all that. And looking at his hair and everything in the cartoons, it was definitely dark. So this is probably about accurate. Try to bring that in. Let me do something here real quick. Let's try this. See if this works out better. That bring it out better? Yeah. One thing that I did have to do to this head is I had to use a rotary tool and grind off some of the hair. This actually had more hair on it. It was more detailed, it was curlier, but to fit that G.I. Joe helmet down there on this head, I had to grind some of that off. So that kind of stunk because there was a lot nice detail in that hair, but I mainly wanted the helmet on, and it was one of those things where, well, you know, if I could take it off, I could take it off, that's fine, but it was mainly meant to be on. So that's the way it's gonna be. I'm pretty much just gonna put that on there, and that's gonna be the end of it. He's just gonna have his helmet on all the time, so I probably don't even have to get as detailed as what I have been with it, but that's okay. We're having fun. So that is his hair. I did switch brushes. I went to a smaller brush so I could get the detail up in there, because the big one wasn't quite making it. We're gonna go ahead and hit his mustache. And maybe a little bit more. Because he had a thin one on the card back. Okay. There we go. And we'll bring that in. That looks better. And I think that looks pretty good for now. Okay. And like I said, once I spray that, that'll smooth that in, and we'll get that look that we're going for. We'll kind of do a quick kind of get, maybe not. There you go. Kind of get an idea of what he's going to look like. Okay. Go ahead and spray that, and we'll get him assembled and get everything the way it should be. We'll go over some history of this action figure and this character. Okay, he's finished. Let's go over a few things. Let's go over some history of this character. The character was first released as an action figure in 1982. The first comic, or actually, yes, the first comic that he was issued in is the #4 comic. And the animated series, ZAP was voiced by Buster Jones. He first appeared in the A Real American Hero miniseries, and he had frequent appearances. I know, for instance, one appearance, Law of the Joe team was trapped inside of a Cobra base, and he had to blow them out with dynamite. He is a E4 corporal. He is a bazooka soldier. His file name is Rafael J. Melendez. He is from New York, New York. And his primary MOS is combat engineer. His secondary MOS is infantry and artillery. So now we have a good look at this figure. There he is, ZAP. There's the face. Kind of get a good look. So we're going for the cartoon, comic book, and action figure look here. We're kind of doing a combination. And then I'll show you, here's the Stalker action figure. This is what we changed this from into this. So that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what it looks like before and after. So I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, please subscribe. And if you haven't, thank a veteran. Thank you for your service. Thank them for their service. And have a blessed day.